Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom is my personal favorite roller coaster in all of Walt Disney World. And that's for a couple of reasons. It has some excellent theming. It's actually a pretty decent ride. Like most of the coasters at Disney are pretty tame. Everest is almost a step in between a thrill coaster and a family coaster. It's still mostly a family coaster, but it has some characteristics that thrill coasters incorporate. These include a pretty decent sized drop, a backward section, and a pretty high speed helix. Now, if we want to really get technical, this coaster could probably also be categorized as a mine train. It has a lot of characteristics that mine trains have. The whole ride starts off with this relaxing turn, real gradual, then you go up this lift hill, you go through some more twisty sections, not really doing anything, you're just kind of meandering around, and then you reach the second lift hill, and this is when you really start climbing up the mountain. And this is a great moment because one, it gives you a fantastic view, and two, this is just another example of how the theming is done so well here. The whole story is really immersive. So once you've reached the top at this point, you are at the peak of the mountain, so you're seeing the snow that is featured at the top of the mountain. You're going to glide, and this is when you reach the point that causes a lot of people to freak out, because those who have never ridden Expedition Everest before probably don't know that at one point it goes backwards. And what's smart about this is that Disney World has kept this section completely hidden, so if you know nothing about this ride, then you are not going to see it coming at all. Because before you know it, they flip a switch and boom, you are going backwards, not for too long, but just enough, and it is completely in the dark, so you have no idea what's going to happen next. That's when you come to a stop and you see the shadow of a Yeti ripping up the track. They reverse everything and you go forward. That is through the biggest drop right there. It's a pretty solid drop. You're definitely going to feel it more in the back seat, as with a lot of roller coasters. And then you have this high-speed helix that actually goes back into the mountain. That's a pretty cool moment. You're going decently fast at that point. So in terms of ride experience, Expedition Everest does a pretty dang good job. This is one of those examples of a ride that completely immerses you, and it's telling a story while it's at it. If you go through that queue line, there's so much theming there. Just walking through the queue, you see all these little minor details and whatnot. Little things that if you're waiting for line, you can find little tidbits and things about this ride, maybe hidden gems that you might not have known about because you weren't paying attention. So if you get a chance to check out some of those details, definitely take note of that. Now, while we're talking about the queue, one thing worth mentioning is that you may not be able to check out as much of the queue as you've liked if you want to wait in as little line as possible, because Expedition Everest does have a single rider line and is really convenient. So you could have a fast pass or do the single rider line. Either way, you probably won't have to wait in a super long line for this coaster, which is excellent. But say you do get stuck in a long line, at least there's stuff to look at in the queue. So to just kind of wrap things up, this ride really is a masterpiece. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. It makes an impression. You can see the mountain from way off in the distance. You could be on the other side of the park. But they've also done a good job at concealing where the roller coaster actually is, because you have that section that stays very low to the ground. So really, if you're an outsider not looking to ride, the only parts of the roller coaster that you're going to be able to see are the lift hill and the main drop. And I think that's really neat. I mean, it shows how much time that Disney put into this. They are showing you what they want you to see. And I think that really adds to that Disney magic that people talk about. That being said, don't go in expecting a super thrilling ride. This is a coaster that everyone in the family should be able to enjoy. Unless you really don't like going backwards, then yeah, probably don't do it. But yeah, you can bring your family members. You can all have a good time. But this is not one of those roller coasters that are going to have the same thrill level as something that you'd find at like a Six Flags park. But if I'd have to say the best part about it, it really is the theming. I mean, that mountain is incredible. So for its final score, I'm going to give it an 8. It's not super thrilling, but it does what it was meant to do very well. And if all else fails, well, at least it's pretty. So those are some thoughts on Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Let me know if you've ridden this, what your thoughts are on it. And of course, you can check out past reviews I've done. They're all available in a playlist organized in alphabetical order on my channel, so be sure to check that out. And stay tuned for more, and I'll catch you guys later.